The meeting will please come to order. Good evening, everyone. My name is Trippy Congo, President of Wilmington City Council. And on behalf of all of my fellow council members, we would like to thank everyone who has joined us in council chambers this evening and also those who are with us virtually. Today is Thursday, April the 4th. We will have our opening prayer by Akira Granado.
Heavenly Father, we have assembled to handle the affairs of our city. As we do so, we ask for your guidance and understanding. We pray that our city reaches a place of peace and safety. Keep us out of harm's way and bless those who are in authority. Let respect be key in all our endeavors. Amen.
Amen. This time we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Present.
Councilwoman Darby, Councilwoman Oliver, Councilwoman Harley,
Present.
Councilwoman Fields,
Present.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Here.
Councilman Johnson, Councilman Field, Councilwoman Cabrera, Councilman Mills,
Present.
Councilman Spadola,
Present.
Councilwoman Bracy, President Congo.
Here.
7 present and 6 absent.
This time we're going to have the reading of the minutes from our previous meeting.
March 21st, 2024, City Council met in regular session with remote participation, the above date at 6 p.m. President Ernest M. Congo II presiding.
I make a motion that the minutes be accepted as written.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the minutes be accepted as written on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This time we will have our committee report.
March 13, 2024, President, members of Council, City of Wilmington, ladies and gentlemen, we, your Education, Youth, and Family Services Committee, met by anchor location and remote participation to whom was referred ordinance number 24012 entitled, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 24019 PR Combined Food Service Programs between the City of Wilmington and Woodson's Food Service Bronx LLC. I've given this ordinance careful study and recommend council vote on it accordingly. Respectfully submitted, those members present, Councilman Mills, Councilwoman Bracy, Councilwoman Fields, Councilman White, absent with leave, Councilwoman Oliver, and absent President Congo.
I'd like to recognize Councilmember Cabrera. And also Councilmember Zanthia Oliver and Councilmember Chris Johnson.
So noted. Johnson, Cabrera, and Oliver.
Oliver, yes.
So noted. The committee report.
Committee Chair,
I'm sorry.
Councilman Mills.
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present.
No.
Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Committee report to be received.
I make motion that the receipt be reported and
Filed.
filed. Thank you.
Adopted.
And adopted.
It's been properly moved and second that the report be received, recorded, and filed on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. This time we will have our city treasurer's report.
April 4th, 2024. Total investment, $507,132,821.75. Total cash on hand, $12,926,177.11. Grand total, $520,058,998.86. Submitted by Dwayne Sims, City Treasurer.
Mr. President, I move the treasurer's report be received, recorded, and filed.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the report be received, recorded, and filed on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. I'll accept the motion to move to accept all non-legislative business.
So move.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second to accept all non-legislative business on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Also like to recognize Councilwoman Bracy.
So noted.
At this time, we will have our recognition resolutions. Councilmember Brigida Fields.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call Mr. Morris and his family up, please. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. I just want to say that this family behind me, we went to the same church together for years. We went to West Presbyterian Church together, so this is like family. And I'm sure that Mr. Morris is going to tell the story about my aunt, how he ran into her. But I'm doing this resolution just to acknowledge him for the work that he has done throughout the city of Wilmington. April 4th, 2024. Sponsor, Council Member Brigida A. Fields. Whereas it is the sense of City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and deserving of recognition and acknowledgement, Council Member Brigida A. Fields would like to honor Larry M. Morris as such an individual. And whereas for over 50 years, Larry M. Morris has served the citizens of Wilmington in many capacities. He is the founder of the Morris Youth Center and the Homegirl Development Basketball League, where he coaches youth basketball. Larry has also developed several other leagues for boys and girls. From the beginning, Larry has always had a passion for mentoring young people. Today, his mentees are in the hundreds. And whereas for 15 years, Larry worked within the state of Delaware government, where he served as a member of Lieutenant Governor John Carney's staff and Director of Constituent Affairs for the United States Congressman John Carney, later retired in 2019 after serving as the governor's community liaison. Larry has also served 2 terms as president of the Wilmington NAACP. For his life work and achievement, Larry has been in the receipt of several awards, including the Delaware Outstanding Young Man of the Year, Big Brother of the Year, the Martin Luther King Jr. Award for Public Service, the Jefferson Award, and many others. And whereas Larry's first love is spending time with his family, he is a proud father of 3 daughters, grandfather of 5, and was recently blessed with a great-grandson. Now, therefore it be resolved by the City Council of Wilmington that this council is pleased to recognize Larry M. Morris for his caring spirit, his passion for public service, and his countless contributions to the youth of the city of Wilmington and the state of Delaware. His accomplishments serve as an inspiration for us all. Job well done.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is such an honor. I didn't do the work that I did for recognition, but this is great, and I'm very pleased. I'm very honored. Although Councilwoman had just introduced my family collectively, I'd just like to introduce my family individually. Tamara, Mason, Stone, Tiana, Sage, Sky, and my good friend and the mother of my children, Cindy. As I sat there, before this, when I walked in the building, I thought of something. I've been at this for a long time, as you heard, 50 years. But listen to this. I had lunch with Louis Redding. And this building's named after him. I'll tell a story of when I first met Helen Chambers, who has a park named after her. Hicks Anderson took me under his wing for several years as a young youth worker and mentored me for several years. He has a community center named after him. Senator Holloway, I've had many meetings with him in the past, and there's a park named after him. Jim Seals was my idol, was my mentor when I was early 20s, and it was Jim Seals who asked me to be the youth advisor to the Wilmington NAACP. And Littleton and Jane Mitchell were mentors of mine, and I spent many times at their house, and they have a room in the Delaware History Museum named after them. I have been the product of many people. I stand here just trying to advocate the need for mentors. If it was not for the people who invested in me, I just don't know what I'd be doing or where I'd be. I have, I'm excited that I'm in the process of completing a book. And the book is called 50 Years of Love. And basically, it talks about the love I had for 50 years, doing what I did, and the love that I received in return. I'm going to read you a part of that book. This was right after West Presbyterian Church hired a 20-year-old to run their summer day camp. One of my most memorable experiences was understanding the dynamics of the West Side. Came when I had I had to fire 3 of my summer youth workers. I challenged them over and over to comply with my rules, but they did not. The next day after I fired them, waiting for me when I got to work were 3 community leaders: Helen Chambers, Lucille Manlove, and Fraulein Trotter. Boy, did they ring my bell. That was the first time being visible my first time being visible in this particular part of town, and these outspoken community leaders did not know who I was. How dare I think I had the right to fire 3 children from their community. I knew from my bringing up not to interrupt grown black women when they are upset. Mrs. Manlove kept saying, "We don't know you from Harry's house cat." I never forgot that confrontation that morning by those 3 passionate leaders. I end up letting those workers come back to work. Later, as my reputation and acceptance on the West Side grew, some of my biggest fans and advocates were Helen Chambers, Lucille Manlove, and Fraulein Trotter. They were the poster image of how community pride is supposed to work. This experience became one of my most valuable. These 3 community warriors came to address what they thought was something unjustly done to neighborhood children. The amazing thing was, not only did none of those workers belong to them biologically, but Fraulein Trotter's daughter, Portia, and Lucille Manlove's daughter, Tina, were part of my workers who I was very pleased with and who did not get fired. The fired children were community, and that was all was necessary. To these women, all children were important enough to protect and take up for. They did not have to be their children. This was the village, up close and personal. Today, much of that dynamic is missing. At one time, when our children needed the most, there aren't enough community advocates like the ones who attacked me that morning. As I said, I'm the product of many people. Our children, I recently retired from Governor Carney's office, and he asked me what my plans were, and I told him that if there was such a thing as a symbolic retiring of the jersey, I wanted my jersey to be retired as a community worker. Today, more than ever, our children need us. Today, our children see things they have no business seeing. They hear things that they have no business hearing. And consequently, they end up doing things they have no business doing. But what happens is we as a society condemn them, and it's not their fault. As I close, I want to encourage those of you who work with young people to continue. Those who are in a position to advocate for more community workers, more youth workers, or better school systems, or mentors, please do so. Our children need us now more than ever. Thank you, Councilwoman Brigetta. Thank you, City Council. I have to say this, that I've been in this business so long that I remember when Trippy Congo's mom announced that she was pregnant. Thank you so much.
Mr. President.
Yes, family, please just hold up a few moments. Council members want to just give you a few words. Councilmember Bracy?
I think
Councilmember Oliver.
Oliver's
That was me. No, that was me. I would like to give homage to Mr. Morris. When I was a teenager on the West Side, working with Mr. Sheehy, all these guys, and he went to a couple of programs. He's been doing this for many, many years. I've always had the privilege to call him. He's been one of my mentors. Before I even came on council, when I first came on council, he gave me a lot of advice. I would call him and talk to him about various topics, and he's just always been a man of class and a man of dignity. So this is overdue, and I just appreciate you, and I love you so much. God bless.
Councilmember Bracy?
so. One of my fondest memories of Mr. Larry is when we were in the congressional delegation. You were in Congressman Carney, I was in Senator Coons, and there was this community meeting that the delegation held. So they were all there, and we had helped organize it. And out of all the people that had come into the room, the community member said, "We know him and we knew her." And that day it was like, "Ooh, I made it," because I had studied you, and I understood the value of showing up. And so in that room, the only two people they pointed to was us. And it really wasn't because of me, it was because of you. And that always stuck with me, to make sure you show up. So we stand on your shoulders. A lot of us younger politicos, it's because of your mentorship and you being willing to go to breakfast at 8 a.m. and talk to us and talk sense into us that we're here. And so I just wanted to say thank you.
Councilmember Cabrera?
Thank you. I just want to say, from the first time I met Larry, I was working for Mayor Sills, and I appreciate the guidance and the leadership throughout the years that he has provided to me personally, his advice. I can tell you that he loves a great special event. He was always present, always supported the local events, but also the inclusiveness, because as I was coming up as a Hispanic leader or public servant at that time, Larry was always conscious of being inclusive of all the community, and in his roles working for Carney and his different roles that Lieutenant Governor, especially as he was Lieutenant Governor and Congressman, to make sure that the Hispanic community was included. So I just want to say we love you. We love the work you've done. your children are definitely have branched out to be those same community leaders and servants, and I love to see the beautiful family that you have here, and I know that you will continue to do the great work that your father has started. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of the Latinos in Wilmington, thank you for your advocacy.
Councilmember Johnson.
Living legend, Larry. It's similar to my colleagues. We're forever grateful just for your mentorship and your wisdom. For me, I've even personally enjoyed your summer hangouts and food you like to host. But more importantly, I think something people may not know is that, you know, how often you worry about spreading the love even across our borders, and the work you've done with African exchange students, and just the amount that you host, you know, exchange students is and business leaders, future business, worldwide business leaders. That's something I've admired and respected about you. And, you know, even introducing me to some of our brethren that are doing similar things overseas in Africa, it really has been life-changing for me. So I appreciate that work and look forward to more of your meetup with our friends from abroad. And again, I thank you for what you do. I love still seeing you in the gym. You still are there every morning. You continue to go. So, you know, you give me inspiration. If I could be moving like you when I'm your age, but you are doing it, and keep it up, Larry. Thank you. And thank your family.
Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. Mr. Morris, good to see you, and great to see your family, and well-deserved honor. There's probably 0 city council members over those last 50 years that you haven't had an impact on, and this council session is obviously in that bunch. You know, for me personally, I think the first time we had a good long chat was when you caught me knocking on doors up by your house. We had it probably there for 15 minutes. I take that with me. And you know, the backyard hangouts are nice too. So just appreciate your service and your mentorship along the way.
Councilmember Mills.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Mr. Larry, I just wanted to say thank you for being an example, for being who you are, for all you've done for the community, for being someone who's the same whenever, regardless of where we see you, or you're the same. You're not one of those leaders who lead when the light is on, when the camera's on. You lead all the time, and I like that. And you know, the respectability factor that you have, that you instilled in me, that my brother and I, we looked at, we admired, and we wanted that, we chased that. And I love how you never give up on our youth, and I hold that, and I'm going to carry that. And thank you for everything you've done, and I will not give up on our youth. And I heard your call, and I'm accepting it. Thank you, sir.
And virtually we have Councilmember Harley.
Yes, thank you, Council President. So first of all, I want to apologize to Mr. Morris for being virtual, but my sciatic nerve kicked in. But congratulations to you, Mr. Morris, on this recognition and honor of 50 years of your great leadership, mentorship, and your public service. Although I did not have the same experience, I guess, being closed in the corporate walls of DuPont for 40 plus years, I didn't have the opportunity as some of my council colleagues, but I will say that there's a few people that embody the ministry of presence. In my opinion, you are one of those individuals where your presence in a room definitely speaks volumes. And I just want to say, you know, you are a gentle giant in my eyes. I have observed you from afar, and I echo all the sentiments of my council colleagues tonight. And again, congratulations on an impeccable legacy, recognition, and honor that you're passing down to your family. And I want to thank Council Member Brigida Fields for this recognition and great honor of a great community leader. Thank you.
Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you. I just wanted to say congratulations, Mr. Morris. I guess the length of time I've known you has not been as long, but you made it your business to find out who I was once I got elected and got a chance to speak with me. Just a few months ago, I ran into you at the tailor shop, and we had a great conversation, and I sat and ate up those stories that you told about a book that you wanted to write, and I just wanted to say, make certain I'm on the pre-order list. Congratulations.
And Mr. Larry, I guess your legacy just speaks for itself, because I'm not sure if we've ever had so many council members just want to thank a person who was receiving a resolution of recognition. So that in itself just kind of goes to who you are and to what you have brought to the city of Wilmington. And you know, as you mentioned, you knew me before I knew who I was. And I just remember, you know, you and your family lived in Ghost Town, and you were also a neighborhood warrior, like you said. The ladies were, you know, you had these beautiful daughters, but everybody knew that your daughters were off limits. Everybody, nobody wanted to mess with you. But I mean, we knew that you loved us, but we didn't have to cross that line. I'm just, you know, and then growing up, just to see the things that you have done in the city, and like someone mentioned that your children are now doing in the city. I know you must be extremely proud of them, you and their mother. So thank you both for everything that you have brought to our city and for producing this beautiful family. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce my family members who just came in. My daughter Talia, raise your hand, Talia, and my granddaughter Maya, and my great-grandson, Ace, DeAndre. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. President. I have another recognition resolution, and this one is for Miss Jazette Lane English. Can you please come up? Your family can come up too. So while the family is coming up, I just want to say, Jazette and I, we go back to 9th Street. So I used to play at my aunt's house on 9th Street. And so Jazette lived on Jefferson. So we will always play in that parking lot right behind my aunt's house, up and down the street. We kept going to the John to get water ice cups. So this is a long time friendship. And I'm just, when she reached out to me about some things that she was doing in the community, and I really had no clue, I was just, you know, excited about what she's doing and how she's giving back to not just West Center City, but just the entire state of Delaware. So I'm going to read her resolution. April 5th, 2024, sponsor Councilmember Brigida A. Fields. Whereas Councilmember Brigida A. Fields wishes to recognize individuals and organizations who demonstrate outstanding accomplishments, Ms. Jazette Lane English is one such individual. Her achievements are noteworthy and merit special distinction. And whereas Jazette is a native of Wilmington, Delaware, she has over 30 years of experience working and volunteering in the nonprofit sector. After returning to Delaware from living abroad in Europe, Jazette and her daughter founded the nonprofit organization Speak English 5 Sports Communication Group, Inc., SE5, and Women Inside Professional Sports, WIPS, in 2012, with the mission to fortify WIPs to reinvigorate them and to provide a unique platform that connects impressionable young mentees and their families with mentors. WIPs across all areas of professional sports to facilitate community reinvestment by liaising with the community and WIPs affiliates in business. And whereas her organization, SE5, was selected to collaborate with Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer to provide education, sports, and health programs to underserved communities in the state of Delaware. Jazette is also the executive producer and co-host of the new talk show Whips Unscripted with DETV and Comcast Every Woman Network. The show gives whips and friends a new voice to broaden their reach into the communities they serve. And whereas Jazette has served on countless boards of directors, including the National Basketball Wives Association, Arthur J. Turner Jr. Scholarship Foundation, Wilmington Urban League Guild, and West Center City Seekers. In 2024, she was recognized by President Joseph R. Biden and Vice President Kamala D. Harris with the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award for her volunteerism and community service. And whereas she is the proud daughter of Dr. Jamie Lane and Miss Paulette Turner, the wife of a professional basketball player, mother of 3, and has 5 grandchildren. Now, there be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to congratulate and recognize Gillette Lane English for her outstanding accomplishments and passion for making a difference in the lives of youth, mentees, and their families in the community.
Ex-wife now. Yeah, ex-wife. Yes, happily. I didn't prepare a long message, but thank you for the recognition. Born and raised here, went to St. Peter's Cathedral, Padua Academy, Delaware State University, Wilmington University, and I just love my city. I love my home. It's an honor to be recognized. I hope to live up to Mr. Morris's accomplishments. He's a little older than I am, so I'm not there yet. And we have great family ties as well. He shared his story with me. I'm so excited that your book is coming out after we had our conversation at the gym a few months ago. Congratulations. I just want to say that I come from a family, a huge family from here. Turner, Lane, Watson is my connection, and they give back. They give back. They were always my example. I've been volunteering since I was 12 years old. Started off with AI, DuPont Hospital for Children. They had a program called Camp Manito for disabled children. And I started working with them as a volunteer when I was 12. And I've been trying to find ways to give back ever since. It's just a passion of mine to make deposits. I call them making deposits to an account that one day maybe my great-grandchildren may have to withdraw from. You know, you give back, you pour into the community, you pour into society. Maybe that's not a check I need to cash one day, but maybe my children or my children's children, my family may need to. And I just feel like as a God-loving person that it's a part of my purpose to give back. So thank you all for the recognition, and I'm going to keep doing what I do. Thank you. You do?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilmember Cabrera.
I'd like to invite Natalie DiCostanza and her significant other up. You can come up. Natalie, stop chatting. It's your turn. Oh, there you go. You can come up with her. Support staff can come up. I really want to recognize this wonderful young lady because, as we all know, there's these people behind the scenes that get things done. They're not the ones that get the attention, the public acknowledgement, but they do what they do because they believe in the purpose, and for them it's not a job, it's a mission to go forward. And having served and still serving on the board of the Land Bank, my interactions with Natalie have been that she has always been above and beyond to just fulfill the request of the board members, some who may not be the easiest to work with. And, you know, we deal in situations where there's neighborhoods with a lot of vacant properties and people are angry and upset. And being able to work with the Wilmington Land Bank to transform Wilmington as we're starting to see the results of our work, I felt that it was important that we recognize the people behind the scenes that make it happen. Sometimes you have the people that are in the front taking credit and the spokespersons, but it's people like Natalie and the work that she did with the land bank that I feel has gotten us to this point. And she's irreplaceable, but at the land bank meeting yesterday, I did meet the person who's come in, and we have 2 people to fill her role now. And we're very excited, the good work that we're going to keep doing. Whereas it is the sense of City Council to honor individuals and organizations who have demonstrated outstanding achievement and are deserving of recognition and acknowledgement. Natalie DiCostanza is one such individual. Whereas Natalie has served diligently as a contract manager for the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank. Her professional skills and innovative ideas have been instrumental to the success of the land bank's operations. And whereas the Wilmington Neighborhood Conservancy Land Bank began operations in 2016 with support from the City of Wilmington and the State of Delaware. In less than a decade, Natalie and her colleagues have built and nurtured strong relationships with a variety of stakeholders in all sectors. And whereas throughout her tenure, Natalie has truly embodied the land bank's values of purposeful, transparent, economically efficient, and sustainable action. Her work has bolstered the vision of the city's comprehensive development plan, strengthened neighborhoods, empowered residents, and reinforced Wilmingtonians' pride in their communities. Whereas Ms. DiCostanza has embarked on a new chapter in her career, Councilmember Maria D. Cabrera and board members and council members Chris Johnson and President Congo expressed their heartfelt appreciation for Natalie's contributions to this great city. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Council of the City of Wilmington that this council is pleased to recognize Natalie DiCostanza for her dedicated service. Job well done.
Thank you so much. I am beyond honored. When I first started at the land bank, it was relatively new in 2019, and we had over 300 properties and vacant parcels to put back into productive use. When I left in 2023, we had over 300 properties that were home ownership opportunities, affordable rentals, and side yards. So we worked hard to change neighborhoods, but I can't take all the credit. My coworker, Ray Sacamandi, who's unable to be here, our chair, Rick Gessner, City of Wilmington Real Estate and Housing, the mayor, Bud Friel, of course, City Council, who placed so much confidence in our abilities and supported us, and Bud Friel. And I have to give a special shout out to Hal Schneikert, who always pushed me to do better. Although he's not here, he's challenging, but he always pushed me to do better. But thank you so much. I'm very proud of the work that I did and that I'm still doing. Thank you.
Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President.
One second, please.
Neighbor, I didn't know you left, and I'm saddened to hear.
I haven't seen you. Your family
Babies
has
and
expanded.
whatnot.
Yes, I work at WSFS, so I am continuing to do community work in the CRA department, Community Reinvestment Act department. So I am still, I'm still fighting for our communities. So.
Well, thank you, and especially your work with the land bank, in addition to the development work. You know, I think the land bank has done an amazing job at getting through the issues of its past, and I think a lot of that is to do with your leadership. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Look forward to you supporting the city through your new hat on. With your new
Yes,
hat on.
I am looking forward to it as well. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. One moment. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, thank you, Natalie. Don't go anywhere.
Oh.
I just want to say, you know, I was sad to hear that you were leaving. and we've grown over the years. We've had countless conversations, and I really truly appreciate your help in the office when I had questions about things, if I wasn't quite sure. And you just made it easy for me as a council person to have that conversation. So you're going to be really missed. And I don't know who's going to be able to fill those shoes. But, we used to go, we went to lunch and giggled the whole entire time instead of talking about whatever we needed to talk about. And so, my heart is kind of heavy, but, you're still my girl. And, congratulations on your new endeavor. And
Thank you.
you got my number, I got yours.
Yes. Thank you. For
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And virtually, Councilmember Harley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to say congratulations to Natalie on this recognition regarding her expertise on the land bank. I had several conversations with Natalie, and what comes to my mind as it relates to Natalie is that she was always so willing to help, always very informative, always was just so eager and excited about the land bank and about people fully understanding how it works, how it operates, and making sure that everyone was knowledgeable about what they were doing. And I'll never forget that. I just kind of can remember that experience with you, Natalie, just, being just like the perfect personality in that job. So all the best in your next chapter, in your new chapter. And I know you're going to do a great job there as well. And again, congratulations to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. Thank you.
Councilman Johnson.
Natalie, we are so sad to see you go. I'm just honored to have the privilege of working with you and Ray and Rick and serving on the land bank. I've learned a lot, and I think the thing that is a testament to you is how I think for the first 2 years in land bank, I probably never physically met you. We were through COVID and we were virtually, but you, through our meetings and your sharing information, you made sure I got caught up to date on what I needed to know about the land bank. And everyone was able to know what they needed to know to continue moving the city forward through COVID. And when we write a book about the success of Wilmington this century, I think your name will be in there, as you and Ray and the team, because the transformative work the land bank has done, you should be really grateful for, and this impact on Hilltop area, the west side, the work they do on the east side, it really is incredible. And if you haven't had a tour, anyone on and watching this, please take a tour. The land bank, what they've done on the west side is really life-changing, and it's changed communities, it's reduced crime, it's done everything. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing you around.
Thank you so much. I'm very proud of the work that we
All right, thank you. As far as sympathy resolutions, we have a sympathy resolution from Councilmember Cabrera for Francis Xavier Reilly. From Councilmember Oliver, sympathy resolutions for Carolyn E. Keys Palmer and Stephanie Crawley. From Councilmember Spadola, a sympathy resolution for Ashley Sabo. And I have a sympathy resolution for Curtis Ivy Smith. At this time, we will move to public comment. And we do have several members in council chambers and several who have signed up virtually. So just to be fair, we are going to alternate public comment. We're going to start with those who are in council chambers, but then we're going to go to those who have signed up virtually. First, we're going to call Deacon Earl Tate. As Deacon Tate comes forward, this is a friendly reminder that there is a Google Form sign-up link in our chat for anyone who would like to speak. Your time limit is 3 minutes. We will give you a friendly reminder when you have 30 seconds left. And please try to respect everyone's time, everyone else who has signed up, and please keep your comments to 3 minutes. Deacon Tate.
Greetings. My name is Deacon Earl E. Tate. And I like to say that once we used to have police on foot patrol all over the city, and it made the city much safer. People weren't afraid to come out on the porch, and weren't afraid to have contact with the policemen and everything. But now, where are they? Where are the policemen that used to control, that used to walk around the city and make friends with all of the citizens of the city? We missed that. We missed that because since they had taken their police out of the city and everything from off the streets, like they used to patrol the streets, hey, the streets have got much more violent and much more corrupt. We need the police back on the street to be more friendly and more kind to each other and to the public, because that's what we need. And I like to close it out. With a poem that I wrote. It's titled "Evil No More." There once was a lady with an evil heart who thought she controlled men with her evil thoughts. She met a man who looked weak because he always would smile and always would speak. She came to him by night when he was relaxed and off guard, so she thought, to seduce him and make him hers, while thinking in her mind that he was weak, and she could easily sweep him off his feet. He injected her with a shot that she was not expecting. It turned all who she came in contact with kind, loving, and more concerned about each other. I usually kill each one I come upon. Yet to you I can't do such a thing, she said. Why? I do not know. As the word went out and fear arose about the world, that evil was no more. He said unto her with a smile upon his face, you take my kindness as weakness and my light as a glow. What for you see the light that shines is not mine, but he of whom I represent, and he is the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you. Have a nice day, everyone.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to go to our virtual public. Matthew Minor.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. There's some issues that I want to deal with as far as when we get later in the meeting, Airbnbs and short-time rentals. But right now, I want to say thank you and congratulations to Natalie DiCostanza. I've worked with the land bank. I bought my first land bank house when the land bank was first started in 2019. And it's been great. I see the work we're doing in the city. And I just, I just wanted to say thank you so much for Natalie and Ray and everybody at the Land Bank.
Okay, thank
That's
you.
it. You're welcome.
You're complete. Okay, thank you. We're going to go back to our audience in council chambers. David Storm. And thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is David Storm. I live in the 8th District.
Speaking to the
Please try.
Oh, sorry. This is new for me. I live at 1709 North Broome Street, and I am here to support the proposed ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to regulate short-term rentals. I find it kind of ironic that tonight there was a celebration and recognition of the land bank in the city and all the homes that it has created, while we have a force in the city that is taking them away. There are currently 160 non-owner occupied short-term rentals on any given day in the city of Wilmington. To the best of my knowledge, they are in every single city council district and in every single neighborhood. That is 160 properties that are no longer homes, where there are no wage earners living paying city wage taxes, and these homes do not strengthen communities, they weaken them. They price out homeowners, disrupt residents, and are overall a net negative to the city. I do believe this ordinance strikes a balance. It regulates all the negative properties while allowing existing homeowners to support home ownership by renting out rooms within their home in a regulated manner. As someone that has experienced these issues firsthand by living next door to an Airbnb, I urge you to understand the positive impact passing this ordinance would have. The constant turnover, the noise, the lack of accountability, the absentee owners, they have impacted our quality of life, and I'm sure hundreds of others that happen to live next to these properties within the city. The enactment of this ordinance is more than about the housing market. It is about restoring peace of mind and security of residents within their own homes. In doing so, Wilmington would join a long-growing list of cities that have enacted short-term rental regulations, including other cities in the state of Delaware. Lastly, there may be some pushback, so I'm going to preempt this. Airbnb and VRBO and all that will say there's a rating system where they rate the owners and the properties and the guests. Well, from living next to one, that does not appear to be the case. We checked the website. There's no real accountability or tracking. Everyone rates each other a 4 or 5, just like they do on their Uber apps, so there's no telling who is what. There's no screening, and it seems the only requirement is that they have an active credit card. So thank you very much for your time. I urge you to support that ordinance when it comes up for a vote in the committee and in front of the full council. Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to go back to our virtual public, Kara Mancinelli. WITN, is Kara Mancinelli still with us? Kara Mancinelli, if you are still with us virtually, please raise your hand. Kara Mancinelli. Okay, we're going to go to Courtney Messina. Courtney Messina. Okay, she's with us in council chambers. All right, thank you for joining us. Please remember to introduce yourself.
So my name is Courtney Messina, and this is Jesse Murphy. We are in opposition to amend Chapter 34 of the code. This is very restrictive. All of the outlines, I completely understand, you know, there are few bad Airbnb owners, but this isn't the case for all of them. These amendments are very restrictive and basically make it impossible to continue running my business. So and many other people's entire livelihood. So yeah, I have, I'm offering, I offer employment for people, so this would completely threaten all of that. Yeah, and there is a rating system, and we pay attention to those that we accept. So it's really such a shame that one or two bad apples are kind of ruining it for everybody. So there are Airbnb owners that care. There are Airbnb owners that very much care about the neighbors surrounding. Not everybody's having a party. And we don't want guests that are causing disruptions either. So we want to make this some.
All right, you can please introduce yourself.
Hi there, my name is Jessie Murphy. I am a partner of Courtney, and we take a lot of pride in what we do. And it is how we feed our family and feed ourselves. The homeowners that we work with, we are not cheap. We take, what we do is, I'm so sorry, not good with speaking in front of people. So we take so much pride in what we do to ensure that the guests that are coming into the properties are respectful. We don't want them destroying anything. It's a huge headache for us. We want to be in a good relationship we want to have a good relationship with our neighbors and our community. Courtney absolutely loves the city of Wilmington. She's one of the biggest advocates for the city that I've met. And we want to help preserve the integrity of the city as well. We are managers, and our responsibility is to try to keep these experiences positive for everyone involved. And I hope that we can find a way to come together and make that happen. And we are doing everything that we can on our end to keep things positive and professional. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you both. Just as a heads up to anyone who has planned on having public comment towards the Airbnb legislation, we are not voting on that this evening. This is just going to be introduced. There will be a committee meeting where we can have a more robust conversation around it on Thursday, May the 9th at 5 p.m. Don't want to discourage anyone who does want to come up and speak. You can definitely do so, but there will be another opportunity on Thursday, May the 9th, and then it will come back before council after that for a vote. Next we have Bridget Storm. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Bridget Storm. You just heard my husband a little bit ago, and I just wanted to share a little bit of our experience with our Airbnbs, and it's very unsettling, and we have young women that live on the other side of us. We have a young single woman across the street. It's very unsettling to have people coming and going with no knowledge of who is going to be next door to us every day. We've had people throwing parties. We've had people letting teenagers sit out on the roof smoking, which, is a safety hazard. And, as a human being, I don't like seeing kids put in danger. So we've had really irresponsible people next to us. We've also had families that have been not a problem. But the people that are problems are big problems. And it's really, really difficult. It's really impacted our quality of life. It's impacted our parking. Currently, there are 5 vans being taken up by the people that are staying next door to us, not paying city parking permits. They're not getting city's not getting any of the tax revenue from their parking, from their being there. And we unfortunately have had a very, very difficult owner who, when we first met him, misrepresented himself to us and told us that he was going to be living there and that he wanted to know what the parking was like late at night because he gets home from work late. And has just not cooperated with us a single step of the way, even when we have tried. So it's really a huge disruption to our quality of life. So we really, really are thankful to you for bringing this forward.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And before we go to our next speaker, pursuant to our council rules, we do have to vote to extend public comment. Right now, it is 7:30. So I'll accept the motion to extend public comment.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. We're going to go back to our virtual audience. Travis Fogelman. Travis Fogelman.
Yep, right here.
Okay, thank you for joining us. And please remember to introduce yourself.
How's everybody doing? I'm Travis Fogelman, Cool Springs, 3rd District. You know, I started as an Airbnb host, so I'm actually going to be against the resolution. Been an Airbnb host for 8 years. Started out with my wife, just hosting medical students in my house. I work at Christiana as a PA. I have many travel nurse friends and medical students. Unfortunately, the first comment is filled with a lot of misinformation, and you know, unfortunately, bad owner can make it terrible for everybody else and make a bad experience. But some of the people that stay at my places are families with sick kids that are here from out of town at AI DuPont that can't get into Ronald McDonald House for surgery. Travel nurses that ever since I started, AI DuPont has a difficult time keeping people in their units. These are professionals that come from all over the country that literally have nowhere else to stay. Medical students that come from all over the country at all of our beautiful, wonderful hospitals to learn. These are all professionals that stay with me. I've had thousands of stays, not a single thing stolen. Never had to have the police called. And, you know, we have no problem talking about let's pay our fair share, have taxation, have, you know, regulation of it, but a straight out restrictive ban that doesn't consider all of the, sides of the story and what you would actually be losing. You know, I hear over and over again the misinformation that Airbnbs take away affordable housing. It's just simply not true. What takes away affordable housing is the price of housing. And that's not going to change. It's not like all of a sudden Airbnb goes away and then everybody can just move into a house. It doesn't work that way. We have there's so many jobs, and I tell people that aren't from around here, why would anybody want to stay in Wilmington, Delaware? Well, you guys all know. People come here to move. It's a wonderful place for employment. We have one of the highest rates of PhDs in technology. These people are moving their families here, and they don't know the area. So
30 seconds.
Stay and are looking for places to live long term. So this would eliminate those people being able to come to the city and stay. I urge you to consider what kind of people you're turning away from the city. All of my people I think of them
10
as my
seconds.
family and friends. And I don't have the problems that these people have. So I think it should be regulated so that those issues don't happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we have LaTanya Corbett. Thank you for joining us, and please introduce yourself.
Sure. Good evening. My name is LaTanya Corbett. I don't live in the city. However, I own several properties within the city, and I'm here to oppose the Proposition 34 for restricting Airbnb. And some of the reasons are similar to the gentleman that just said there earlier. They're very restrictive. As far as paying the 3% sales tax, I don't think you will find any Airbnb owner that would have a problem with that. Excuse me. I own properties here in Wilmington and outside, a few other in Newcastle County. it's not a problem paying it. We have people that stay, like the gentleman said, travel nurses, people from the refinery, people from other areas that can't find housing or are unable to pay for housing if it's 30 days, 15 days, because they're working in the area and they need a place to stay, right? As far as noise, I understand that you may have an issue now and again, that there may be a noise issue. However, when I have had that problem one time, my neighbor called me, I'm right on the situation. That's very, very rare. As far as the rating scale, we take that personally. That rating scale dictates how we get paid as well. So we have a poor rating, we don't get paid, we get bumped off the platform. As far as making sure the homes are in immaculate condition, I have other properties that are long-term too. The inspector always comes and says, your properties are perfect, right? No issues. We take better care of our properties than a lot of the regular homeowners do in Wilmington. We make sure everything is right because we get scored by these guests that will let us know this is not where we want to stay and our revenue will be impacted. In addition to that, we're also providing income into Wilmington. Many people stay, they go to the field house, they go to the riverfront, they go to other places and generate revenue for those businesses. We hire cleaners, we hire additional contractors, we hire landscapers, we take care of our property. For the most part, we take care of our properties a lot better than regular homeowners. On my block, my property is better than anyone there. Okay, not opposed to the increase in the price of charging taxes. It's a fair game. It's a money bag. I want to know, as a person that's going to be impacted by this, what other benefits am I going to get? Am I going to get additional policing? Am I going to get my garbage picked up like it's supposed to get picked up when it doesn't? And I have to call and complain when I have a sidewalk that's busted up from a tree that I can't cut down because Wilmington has a ordinance against trees on the city block to get cared for, and that's causing a trip hazard. I understand that, but some of these restrictions in here with only having one Airbnb,
10 seconds.
3 people, they're too restrictive. Come up for that. We want us to pay, we'll pay, right? I can't speak for, I'll pay for my share, but the other stuff is just too restrictive, and it's not going to benefit Wilmington in the long term with all the other good stuff that we do. Thank you.
Thank you. Next virtually we have Andrea. Andrea, if you're still with us virtually, please raise your hand. Okay, thank you. We're going to move to Luke Bernhardt. He's in council chambers. You can come forward. Thank you. Thank you for joining us, and please remember to introduce yourself.
Good evening. My name is Luke Bernhardt, and I'm in Cool Springs as well, so I believe that's the 3rd district. As I'm sitting here listening to everybody's comments, I think the big problem, and I'm here for the short-term rental, what feels like a ban. I think this situation is screaming for leadership, and I think this council can guide the city there. I pulled some really quick stats because it just came across my radar today. The city of Wilmington, inside the city limits, we have anywhere between 320 and 1,040 listings that are short-term rentals. Now, this data is for any listing that's ever been listed, so it seems like we have an average of about 500 listings with an average income of $18,000 per listing. So we're talking about an economic impact to the city of Wilmington between $5 and $18 million. That's a big number. We have about 1,300 hotel rooms inside the city limits, and if we've got 300 to 1,000 Airbnb rooms, we're talking about 20 to 40% of our short-term stay stock that could be affected by this ordinance. These poor folks here who have dealt with some less than favorable guests, I think that type of situation screams for a number that can be called and a host that can be reached, and a host that can't be reached should be booted out of the system so they're not affected in their homes. I think there's a way that the city can lead both parties to a workable situation, and we're not a vacation destination, right? We are hospitals, doctors, nurses, lawyers, court cases. We've got Assault Falcon. You know, there's a lot of employers here that bring people in temporarily that need housing, and a lot of them don't want to be in a hotel room. They want a kitchen, right? Maybe they have dietary restrictions. Maybe they don't like elevators. So I think there is a need for this type of housing. I think it's been a bit of the Wild West, so I think that some sort of regulation would help, right? But the proposed legislation will quash any short-term rental operators in the city. So I do think it's necessary. I think it needs some tweaks, and maybe there's a forum where folks who are hosts can sit down
You have
with
30 seconds.
the folks making the rules and find a way to make the best possible situation. Let's make some lemonade. Let's keep money in the city. And hey, if we've got some more rental applications and some more income for the city, that would help. So anyways, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Nelson on Zoom. Nelson. And moving back into council chambers, we have Tiana Morse. Thank you for staying.
I'm still here. Hey. So I don't know too much about the band. From what I'm hearing, I obviously born and raised in the city of Wilmington, and just recently moved out, and primarily because of the horror stories that you hear about with the violence and the neighbors, and the things that you can't get away from without moving out of the city. I feel terrible for the neighbors that are going through this situation with the rental property that's next door to them. I can't say enough how I've had in the past with situations with neighbors and you can't really do anything about it, and you're in that living quarters and that's where you pay as well, and it's not fair. And I think me being for the ban is not necessarily saying that I'm opposed to people earning a lifestyle with this type of with the having the Airbnb and different properties. I am saying that if I think someone mentioned some sort of a resolution that could be had with the owners of these properties that are not being held accountable. I think that would be extremely important, especially for the residents of the city of Wilmington who have families here, and I think that's what's definitely important.
All right, thank you. And I believe we have allowed everyone who signed up for public comment the ability to speak. So at this time, we are going to move to legislative business. Councilmember Oliver.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Councilmember Oliver, 1 second, please. I'm sorry, WITN. Say that one more time. Okay, we have 2 more people who signed up for public comments. We're going to allow them to speak. Helen Furman.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, this is Helen Furman. I'm in the 5th District, Councilmember Fields District. I can understand having a little regulation to address the folks over on Broome Street and that situation. I wonder if they had, tried to contact Wilmington Police, and if they did, what response did they get? And this kind of goes to an overall enforcement issue across the board. those folks should have had immediate relief. If there was an absentee owner there, I've been under the impression, I could be wrong, that with any Airbnb, the owner has to live on the property. Maybe not so. As far as paying, I have to pay a fee for my rental properties. And sometimes it seems like maybe those fees are a bit high, given the fact that we have, we're up against a lot of issues like the shootings and so forth. But I think an Airbnb owner should pay a fee. But the Airbnbs in my neighborhood are beautiful. The owners, like the one woman said, they're highly motivated to beautify their properties. And if you take a big house around in West Center City that has, say, 5 bedrooms and several bathrooms, the maintenance on that house would keep most home buyers away. So a beautiful Airbnb is a great way to beautify the city. Another great way to beautify the city is do what we do. We live with our tenants. We rent to people we want for neighbors. But again, I'd like to go back to the folks on Broome Street and just say that if we had a police force and code enforcers that did their job or could do their job because they have enough staff, they have enough officers, then the non-shooting violations could be addressed.
You have 30 seconds.
Well, I think I've summed it up. An appropriate fee, and most of all, holding hands with landlords. Instead of approaching landlords punitively, why not consider some incentives to do a good job? I know so many minority
10
landlords.
seconds.
Minority landlords who have beautified and rescued properties that were lying vacant. Yes, home ownership I would definitely want to encourage, but I think there's more to the picture here. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And next we have Lisa Gott, virtually. Lisa Gott. WITN, do you still see Lisa Gott with us? Okay, thank you. Lisa Gott, please unmute yourself. Lisa Gott, if you can hear me, please unmute your mic so that you may give public comment. Lisa Gott. WITN is, okay. Is there anyone else virtually, WITN? Okay, all right, thank you. At this time, we are going to return to legislative business. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24016, Agenda 0410, whereas House Bill 50, an act to amend Title 11 of the Delaware Code relating to theft, was introduced into the Delaware House of Representatives in January 2023 and is on the ready list for a vote.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed, and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have a civic association meeting, and I have received several calls about my constituents' packages being, taken off their steps, off their porches. So I made contact with our staff, and it was already something. I talked to Sherry Dorsey. They already had something in Dover. So I just wanted to support that bill and encourage people to make sure they have their packages maybe delivered at the post office or at their jobs, because it's not really much we can do if if your package just keep, where I live is a step. It's not like we have porches. So if you have steps, and it's unfortunate, it's happening on porches, and they have body cams. And I talked to, the sector, the police sector in the area, but they have the masks on, so they're not able to identify them. And it is unfortunate that people are, home working from home and ordering packages, and people are taking them. So I just wanted to support the resolution to just listen to my constituents, because it's about at least 20 of them who I've spoken to, and now it's been passed on. So altogether, they gave me a petition of 50 people whose packages have been taken, small and some large. So I just wanted to let the residents know that I do hear their cry, and I just support the resolution.
Councilman Johnson.
I'm glad to be supportive of this bill going down to Dover. I know we have an advocate in Dover City Council, so this is one actually we hope gets over the finish line once we pass it, which I hope we pass tonight. We actually need to get it across the finish line before June 30th. This is, I definitely know in my side of town, this is a top concern. It's this and car break-ins. This is what's driving middle-class people out of the city, at all income levels out of the city is these kind of crimes. So unfortunately, I've had it happen in my own house. So it's just one of those things that even cameras catch it, but it doesn't stop it. This at least will make the penalty a little stiffer, knowing that if people do this. I believe in the legislation, repeated offenses can be a felony offense. So again, we have to discourage people from doing this. A lot of these people are drug addicted, have other issues, mental health issues, and we're certainly dealing with that too. But meanwhile, we have to keep people at least away from people's homes, because it's scary. Somebody's going up on your porch, going in your backyard. It's very scary. So I appreciate this work, and we need to get this. We have a few months to pass this, so we need everyone at home who this is a concern. We could continue to rally the community to tell folks in Dover they got to pass this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Cabrera.
As much as I love retail, now that the Christmas tree store is closed, I guess I'll never do retail again. We know that people order. It's convenient to get supplies. I mean, some folks that are infirm, that cannot leave their homes, that's their livelihood, to get things ordered and brought to their home, groceries. I know a friend of mine had knee surgery, and the only way she was able to get supplies for her home was by ordering. I have been a victim when I lived in Trinity vicinity. It was very accessible for some of the reasons that Councilmember Johnson mentioned. There are people who are in situations where there is addiction, where they're looking, to make a quick buck. They get those things, they sell them. They do need help, but at some point we have to send a message, same way Ellesmere does, and nobody speeds through Ellesmere, that the city of Wilmington is not going to be tolerant, that these things happen. There are going to be charges brought up. And as much as I hate to see more people in jail, there's got to be parameters. Something has to happen. They got to learn that there's a repercussion for an action. That's what we teach children from the time that they're toddlers. You do this, it's negative. There's going to be an outcome. You have to learn these lessons. This is the only way to do it. So I'm very supportive of this, because it is a violation. You feel so violated when someone takes from you. So yes, I definitely want to support this.
Thank you. And seeing no other hands raised.
My hand is raised, Mr. President.
Councilmember Harley.
Yes, thank you. I just want to echo the sentiments of my colleagues, as this being a growing concern throughout not only the city, but beyond. So I'm happy to see HB 50 down at the General Assembly. And I would like to be a co-sponsor, because I have a community that deals with this, it appears to me, on a daily basis, and it is really getting worse. And as it was mentioned by Councilmember Johnson, I mean, these are the types of things that over a period of time, it can cause us to lose residents in the city, over these types of small crimes. So I'm happy to see this. And again, I would like to be a co-sponsor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, I would like to be a co-sponsor as well.
Thank you. Back to the sponsor. Councilmember Bracy, did you have your hand raised?
Yes.
Okay.
I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
And seeing no other hand raised, I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. Councilmember Cabrera would like to be added
like to be
as
added
a
as well.
co-sponsor.
Okay.
Councilmember Mills,
Please add me co-sponsor as well.
co-sponsor.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right.
Okay, just for the record, Councilman, President Harley, Brigida Fields, Bracy, yourself, Cabrera, and Mills.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we turn to the sponsor, Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you. And I wanted to put clarity on this. Our fellows just told me what was going on in Dover, and I happened to bump into Sherry. She just said she was a co-sponsor, so I wanted with clarity. I don't know who is the sponsor in Dover. I just mentioned it because I don't think she's the sponsor. She just said she supported the bill, so I wanted to make that clear.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24017, Agenda 0411, whereas Section 3802 of the City Charter provides that the Wilmington Parking Authority shall continue as constituted by the provisions of Title 22 Delaware Code, Chapter 5, until otherwise changed by law.
I
And
move
where-
this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President, this resolution is being presented by the administration for council's review and approval. The resolution confirms Mayor Mike Prizicki appointed Lawrence Carson to the Board of Directors of Wilmington Parking Authority to serve as a member of said board for the remaining of 5-year terms to expire on June the 30th, 2025.
Councilmember Johnson.
I have a personal conflict with the Wilmington Parking Authority, so I will be abstaining from the vote.
All right, thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Oh, excuse me. Yes, can I please ask the sponsor, does she know who Mr. Carson will be replacing?
Yes. Yes, Mr. President, can I answer that?
Yes, Councilmember
Yes,
Oliver.
I know Mr. Carson. He's been at the Parking Authority for a long, long time. And he started off as an attendant and worked his way up. And he's worked at all the various parking authorities. And now he's a supervisor or manager, I think. I was glad to hear that the mayor had appointed him to this board, but I know him. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I just know he's always, even before I was in council, he used to be riding around all the parking lots, and if you had a flat, he would help you fix it or put air in your tire. But I know of him just working through the parking authority.
All right, thank you. I think Councilmember McCoy, you want to know who he is replacing?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't
All
hear.
right,
I
so-
don't know who he replaced.
Okay.
I
But
think, I think he
we'll
was
get you that
added.
information. Okay.
I thought she said, do I know
And see
him?
no other hands raised. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Present.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
10 yeas, 1 present, and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24018, Agenda 0412. An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to provide for short-term residential rental regulations.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend Chapter 34 of the City Code to provide for short-term residential rental regulations.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and referred to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. Councilmember McCoy.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24018, Agenda 0413, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, City Council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications and proposals, including authorization for expedited grant applications when necessary prior to council's approval by resolution.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea or nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second, the resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the Wilmington Police Department grant application to the State of Delaware Criminal Justice Council in the amount of $363,000. The proposed grant funds will be used to support the department's Partners in Crime co-responder program, which pairs mental health clinicians with police officers to respond to calls for service to support individuals experiencing crisis. Funding would support the continuation of the city's contract with Christiana Care Health Systems, as well as training for the program staff, the purchase of equipment, and other expenses related to this program. And there are no local matching funds required.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I would like to be added as a sponsor. And I do want the public and my colleagues here to understand how we are in front of this. Recently, having attended Councilmember Bracy and I, the National League of Cities Conference, this was a topic of conversation on how cities are trying to implement programs like this and why they should implement programs like this. The benefits of having a mental health specialist and having someone there for certain police calls, which we will see, I believe, a difference in the outcomes of those interactions between police and community members, which has also been a concern across the country with some of the behaviors we have seen. So having this in place is great. The fact that we're doing this in Wilmington goes to show how we are in front of the eight ball, that we're actually more progressive than other cities and how they're looking at doing this. And I'm so proud that we are doing this. This has been something we've discussed. And I'm thankful to the chief because I was at the meeting when Christiana was trying to get feedback from the community, and this was one of the topics discussed. And I'm glad that they were able, the administration, Chief Campos, to work with Christiana to get this up and running. And I hope that moving forward, we will support this in future budgets. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
I'm of course, a co-sponsor of this, and this is honestly one of the moments in which I'm honored and privileged to serve on council. This is actually emotional for me because we have worked, it was me, Councilmember McCoy, Councilmember Oliver, who went up to Newark years ago, Newark, New Jersey, and talked about CPSI, talked about all this. And to finally see this in action really makes it worth it. And hats off to our colleagues and everyone for pushing this. I remember walking the west side. I would walk Lancaster Avenue with Captain Campos back when he was sector captain, and us look at the need. And he would address it the way he could back then. He used to get organized vice squads to deal with the mental health issues, but it still didn't help. And so this is really, you really got a council that's moving. I know we get a lot of negative press, but there's a lot of us doing the great work that is moving the city forward. And this has took a lot of work, painstaking work to get this together, but this is a council working together to solve large problems. So this is one of my proudest moments on council, and the launch of this program, along with the work Dr. Deborah Mason is doing in the community. This is what government action is. So I'm proud to be to move us forward. So thank you, and I can't wait for this program to launch.
Thank you, Councilmember Oliver, then Councilmember Hartley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too like to be a co-sponsor. I'm going to not echo everything council members have said, but I do remember being attending Wilmington Hospital with Chief Campos and everyone from Christiana Hospital over to Wilmington Hospital and discussing this matter. And I too would like to say this is a proud moment on City Council. And I'd like to give kudos to the Hope Commission, the Reentry Program. I'm looking at the flyer that we will be discussing tomorrow for the women's reentry that's working with women with mental health. So I'd like to give kudos to Christiana Hospital, Wilmington Hospital, and all the entities that's coming together, and all the components and all the members throughout the community who are working with this program to deal with mental illness. And like you said, we went to Jersey. We've just been knocking this door down, all council members, most of us, because we realize it's a problem. I was just at Ministry of Karen, took a walk down to 2nd Street, and you just see all the people out there, and you see some on 9th Street throughout the city. It's just, it's a addiction. It's a mental problem that we don't like to discuss, and it's relevant. So I'm just glad, and please put me as a co-sponsor. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilmember
Thank you,
Harley.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I do want to first of all thank Chief Campos for getting on this and actually implementing it, even though council members, it has already been said, so I'm not going to repeat everything that has been said, but I do want to thank him for taking the lead on partnering, meeting with Christiana Care. I know myself, Council Member Johnson, Oliver, and McCoy, and I think Fields, we all met as well at the Christina Care when the Wilmington Police Department did a presentation, City Council. We were able to share our input. Christiana Care, they shared their input, and it was just a great collaborative at that particular meeting, and to see that it actually has come into fruition and we are working together to make sure that it is a sustainable program. It really does warm my heart. So I would love to be a co-sponsor. And again, I think this is great, absolutely great for the community. Thank you.
Thank you. And seeing no other hands raised, turn to the sponsor.
Okay. All right, thank you, Mr. President. And I thank all of my council colleagues with their support for WPD and also for Chief Campos. These are one of the things that we've actually talked about before he became our chief. When we were still, he was our sector captain. He understood what was going on. As Councilman Johnson stated, the corridor that's right between he and I and Councilwoman Fields, we have a lot of activity there. We have a lot of people who are having issues. And this Partners in Care program is going to be essential to being a little bit more proactive about those type of things. It's this grant is only for $363,000, and that actually is going to give us the funds to make certain this program continues for an additional year. I couldn't wait to talk to WPD to make certain that, do we see more grants like this? What are we going to be doing later? I know right now it's just a pilot for 2 years, but I look forward to seeing this thing actually do so well that it will grow. Right now, we just have the 2 clinicians and the 1 case manager, but I have high hopes for this program.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted.
Mr. President, I have a resolution to present.
Resolution 24019, Agenda 0414, whereas pursuant to Section 2363 of the City Code, City Council deem it necessary and proper to specify the requirements for review and approval of city-sponsored grant applications and proposals, including authorization for expedited grant applications when necessary prior to council's approval by resolution.
I move this resolution be received, recorded, and filed and adopted by a yea and nay vote.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second. The resolution be received, recorded, filed, and adopted by yea or nay vote on the question.
Yes, this resolution is being presented by the Administration for Council's review and approval. The resolution authorizes Wilmington Police Department's grant application to the State of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund, which we know as SLEAF. in the amount of $40,000. The proposed grant funds will be used to purchase a generator to support department crisis management, hostage negotiation, a Velox computer, and to preserve digital forensic evidence, and 2 unmanned aerial vehicles, which are drones, to replace the outdated equipment that we have. And there are no local matching funds required.
Thank you. And seeing no hands raised, clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
Yes.
11 yeas and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. Before we move to Councilmember Johnson, just as a matter of housekeeping, Councilmember DARBY requested that all her legislation be held this evening. Councilmember Johnson.
All right. I would like to, I move council to dissolve into a committee of the whole for the purpose of holding a public hearing, ordinance 24-010.
There's a second.
A second.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that council dissolve.
You like out of here.
Make this quick.
I'm like, how long is this gonna take?
It's been properly.
We know to say yes and no.
Council members, thank you. It's been properly moved and second that council dissolve into a committee of the whole for the purpose of holding a public hearing on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Clerk, please read the affidavit of publication.
Yes. State of Delaware, County of Newcastle, the Wilmington News Journal is a daily newspaper of general circulation, printed and published in the state of Delaware, that the publication of a copy of which is attached hereto was published in the said newspaper and issue date on March 13, 2024, for ordinance 24010 entitled, An Ordinance to Approve Amendments to the Large-Scale Redevelopment Project known as the Wilmington Flats. And it's signed by Notary Public Vicky Felty.
I move that the affidavit of publication be made part of the record.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the affidavit of publication be made a part of the record on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Clerk, please read the Planning Commission report.
February 6, 2024. Mayor Balsejo, City Clerk. Dear Ms. Sejo, attached for City Council's consideration, City Planning Commission Resolution 10-23, along with the related Department of Land Use and Planning reports. At their November 21st, 2023 meeting, the Planning Commission voted to recommend the following measures to City Council. Resolution 10-23, propose amendments to Woodlawn Trustees, Inc. to the Wilmington Flats Large-Scale Redevelopment Project as approved by City Council in December 2013 to make changes to the site and building design as shown on August 24, 2023 site plan. This constitutes a report and recommendation of the Mayor's Office on the above referral.
At this time, I move the Planning Commission report be made part of the record.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that the Planning Commission report be made a part of the record on the question. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Present, Mr. President.
Thank you. Motion carried. Is there anyone from the Planning Department here with us virtually? Would I ask you to come forward with your report? Just give us a few moments, please. Again, thank you for your patience. Since no one from the planning department is here with us in chambers or virtually, we're just trying to decide our next steps. Councilmember Johnson.
At this time, Your Honor, I believe.
Your Honor, I like that.
Sorry. I'm like, oh yeah, different. It's been a long night.
It's okay. It's okay.
He is honorable, but you know. At this time, Council President, I will. There's not a representative from the planning department available currently to give this presentation, so I apologize for members of the public who are here to speak on this hearing. So with that, actually, I will make a motion to have council postpone and move out of committee of the whole meeting and go back into regular session.
I believe Councilmember Johnson, it needs to be postponed to a certain time.
Okay. All right. So then at this time, I'll, due to those aforementioned reasons, I will make a motion to postpone to the April 18th City Council meeting.
15 days. 15 days.
Yeah, from here to the 18th is 40. Mr. President,
Yes, Councilmember Oliver.
I just know
Excuse
this
me
is
one
a.
second. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Councilmember Johnson. Is this pertaining
At
to
this time,
one?
I will ask to postpone to the May 2nd City Council meeting.
Councilmember Oliver.
I was just going to say this is a time-sensitive matter. I'm very aware because I've been in a couple. Excuse me, I got slight allergies. I've been in a couple of meetings because they're doing some work on the east side, and I know this is a time-sensitive matter. So I know Vince, you really can't talk, but is there any way we can get through this?
No.
I know. No.
Your mic.
No way.
Parliamentarian. Yeah.
Your microphone.
I think, so from a legal perspective, if we could get somebody from planning who is knowledgeable in the process, excuse me, if we could get somebody from planning to join the call, we may be able to continue. If you want to take a brief recess while we attempt to do that, we may be able to do that.
Is there any way we can make, Mr. President? Is
Yes, Councilmember Oliver.
I guess. Yes,
I'm not in a position to present or answer any questions
right.
that may.
And maybe we won't. I just was wondering if there's any way that we can make a phone call, because I think that's sad that no one's here and this is on the agenda.
Apparently, we have touched base with administration. They do not have anyone available.
Okay. Thank you. That's all.
All right, Councilman Johnson, you may continue.
So at this time, I would like to make a motion to postpone to the May 2nd meeting.
So moved. Second.
I spend a motion to postpone to our May 2nd meeting. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Present, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Motion carried. Councilmember Field.
Mr. President, on behalf of Councilman Field, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Just 1 second.
Councilman Johnson, Councilmember Cabrera, please give us one second.
No worries.
Because of the postponement, you just need to officially hold your second piece. second
Okay.
piece of on your
Okay,
legislation.
at this time, then I will
Postpone.
hold. At this time, I will, Mr. President, I will hold ordinance 24-010.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Mr. President, on behalf of Councilman Field, I have an ordinance to present and call for the first and second reading.
Ordinance 24-019, Agenda 0415, an ordinance to approve the removal of a portion of West 16th Street located between Brinkle and Green Hill Avenue from the official city map.
First reading of the ordinance.
An ordinance to approve the removal of a portion of the West 16th Street located between Brinkle and Green Hill Avenues from the official city map.
Second reading of the ordinance.
Mr. President, I move that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer it to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee.
Second.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the first and second reading of the ordinance and refer to the Community Development and Urban Planning Committee. Councilmember Mills.
Yes, Mr. President, I have an ordinance to present and call for the third and final reading.
Ordinance 24-012, Agenda 0401, an ordinance to authorize and approve 2 one-year extensions of contract 24019 PR Combined Food Service Programs between the City of Wilmington and Woodson's Food Service Bronx LLC.
Mr. President, I move that this be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and call for a yea and no vote.
It's been properly moved and second that be known as the enacting clause of the ordinance and called for a yea or nay vote on the question.
The ordinance is being presented by the administration for council's review and approval. The ordinance authorizes the city to exercise 2 one-year extension options for contract 24019 PR Combined Food Services Program with Whitson Food Services Bronx LLC.
Councilmember McCoy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to state that I'm aware of the, I guess, the contract that they had previously for this group, who basically merged with other smaller groups when it came to our lunch program and all of those things. I just want to state that for the record, I hope that we do get better service this year than we got last year. So that's basically it. I just hope that they heard whatever our director had to, make them aware of to get this contract through.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to echo what Councilwoman McCoy stated. And when I see Food Service Bronx LLC, may I ask the sponsor is are the individuals who's taking over this, are they from out of state?
To my knowledge, yes, Councilwoman. That is what the director stated when he came and spoke to the committee.
Okay. I'm not going to vote against it, but I do think it's unfortunate that we have all these small businesses around here in Wilmington, and economic development. We're giving out all this money, and we can't find individuals from here who could have done it. I do know Milk and Honey. Evolve. I just know so many people who probably could have did this contract, but I'm going to vote for it. But it's funny how we always find people from out of town, and we have people right here in our backyard who could have, thinking out MLK, we just have people here who have facilities that could probably do this, and we always go out of town to find people for whatever apparent reason, but I don't know the ins and outs, but I'm just glad that it's going to be provided to our kids, and hopefully, as Councilwoman McCoy said, they do a better job than they have been doing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Yes, I do want to echo those same concerns. It's just constantly that instead of keeping the money here locally in our state, in our city, that we go out. Now, maybe no one here has the capacity, and I can understand that. So that's one concern. Second, in terms of any health requirements, does anybody have any details on what they are providing? Are they going to be aligned with healthy foods for both the adults, the adult care, and for the people in the program, in the Parks and Recreation program for the youth? Does anybody have an answer to that question?
Councilmember Mills.
I believe the director and the deputy director, when they spoke at the committee meeting, did address that and say they would meet national standards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy, followed
Yes.
by Councilmember Harley.
Okay, thank you. So my last comment is to the director's offense that we've actually had this conversation more than a year ago, and that's how I knew that this company that they're dealing with, who is out of state, they have actually merged with the company who is closest to us. Although they are not in Delaware, they were fairly close, and so because of this conflict, you know, they felt as though they had no choice but to deal with them at such a short notice. I was just hoping that we would find another solution. But as I stated, you know, we've had this conversation, and I guess that this may be the most cost-effective and I guess way that they decided to deal with things.
Thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Mr. President, clearly, as we can see, there are a number of concerns. A number of concerns as it relates to the topic at hand here. So I want to say, since I wasn't at the committee meeting, to ask some questions that should have been asked at the committee meeting, I'm just going to ask that Councilmember Mills maybe work with Director Smith to make sure that we're monitoring what's happening with these meals that are going to be given to our children. And I wanted to know, are they going to be providing the lunches for the summer program?
Yes, Councilwoman, that was a part of the package.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that what I was saying applied to the summer youth, the summer program, lunch program, because I did get a number of calls last summer regarding the lunches and things of that nature. And like I said, being more solution oriented at this point, it's already agreed upon. If we could just do some monitoring and make sure that our kids are getting what they deserve. So that's pretty much all I have to say. But I think that all 5 of us, or 3, 4, however many council members, have spoken on this, and we definitely didn't talk and speak with each other. So it's worth really paying attention to. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember White.
She was first.
Councilmember Gracie.
Oh, thank you. I'll just be brief. I did attend that the presentation by Director Smith, and it was brought up in that meeting, and it was also brought up in other conversations, and I think Councilmember McCoy alluded to that. The problem with going with the local company is capacity, because every day the provider must serve the entire city. And so the last year when, and I'm just saying this for the record, so if the public's watching, they kind of understand what's happening. Last year when the contract was up, the company that they had was too small to service all of the city the way that was needed. And so this new company was brought in. They merged together to make a company large enough to service all of the needs for the summer youth program and all of the other food related programming that the city provides food for. But I do think, and I agree with my council members when you say that having that conversation around capacity now, so that next summer, like if we're going to do this and there's an opportunity to help someone local build capacity to be able to offer this citywide food program, then that is something that we should be looking into. But I do know that there was a problem with just finding someone or finding one food provider that was big enough to make that the volume that is needed on a day-to-day basis. So I do think there's a conversation that we should continue to make sure that if there is a way to build that capacity here, like Councilman Oliver mentioned, quite a few people, so maybe there's a way that we can build that capacity locally. Thanks.
Thank you. Councilmember White.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to say Chairman Councilman Mills did an excellent job of of holding that committee meeting. For those of us who was present, he did an excellent job. He asked every question that we are now doing committee work on over and over again. The question is that, including the question about healthy meals, what's in this food that our babies and some of us are eating? And we were promised that we'd get that information. And thirdly, you know, I hear that we need to build capacity amongst our local businesses, but yet we have an opportunity to press this administration for dollars for small business development, and we don't, and we find ourselves back out here asking to build capacity. So we can't have it both ways. And again, you know, Chair, Councilman Mills did an excellent job of chairing that. The answers that were given by the director and the deputy director were on point. They're rational, they were reasonable. And I don't think any one of us want our children or our neighbors' children to go without a meal because of some craziness. So I would just urge my colleagues that we cannot just have this question about building capacity for black and brown businesses just at these times on these extensions. So keep that pressure and keep that thought. And we have a budget, so let's look at the budget and how this can happen. So that's all I have to say, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Fields.
Yes, thank you, Council President. I just want to say that we do have the what is it? The where they have the at Grace Church where they have the kitchens where they can cook in large amounts. So my thing is, I get what we are saying on council here tonight, but again, I have to agree with Councilman White that, you know, in that meeting, the chair asked all of these questions, and he's only relaying back to you what was given to him by Director Smith. I think collaboratively, yes, we could look into it next year. Like, we can start doing it now. But like he said, we don't want our kids not to have anything to eat this summer. So, I mean, I think that's a conversation that we all can have moving forward. But I think, like, right now, the importance is of making sure that our kids in the community for summer and after school, they have something to eat. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Oliver.
Thank you, Mr. President. No, I just made a statement because I don't believe in having a committee meeting in the chambers. I was just making a statement to say hopefully in the future, guess what everybody was saying, because I didn't attend the meeting, but I did watch it on TV, and I have to also echo that Chair Mills did an excellent job. I was just making a statement about trying to keep some of the funding in the city, but I didn't mean to throw it off to have a whole nother committee meeting because I'm not one. That's what the committee meetings are for, so I just wanted to make that clear. And may I be excused?
No.
Not yet. Thank you. Let's just take the vote first, please.
Okay,
Councilmember
sorry.
Fields.
Yes, I just wanted to clarify. It's the Wilmington Kitchen Collaborative through Wilmington Alliance. So that's what I was talking about as far as they have really big kitchens and they have the capacity to possibly do that for our city of Wilmington. You know, it's based right here in the city of Wilmington. They have the refrigerators. They have all the cooking utensils and refrigeration that they need to cook the food right here. So I just think that's a good thing that we can discuss with Director Smith moving forward. Thank you. I just wanted to get the name correct.
Thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Oh, yes. I just wanted to again underscore we can monitor and just make sure that we check on this company. That's it. So again, I think, you know, we're past, you know, who has the agreement, like I said earlier, but I still think there's opportunity for us to do that. And I hope that we will. And it's not no reflection on Council Member Mills at all or anyone, but it's an opportunity, and let's not miss it. That's all I'm saying. So thank you.
Thank you. And I think that it is our responsibility to put the kind of pressure on the administration that we are talking about. I believe if we simply just pass ordinance after ordinance and always talking about doing it the next time, it would never be the right time. So, I mean, at some point, we just have to take a stand. And I mean, I know Councilmember Mills loves the city. He loves people who he represents. So this isn't against him at all. It's just I think that we have to, like Councilmember White, put some pressure on the administration to do what's right for Wilmingtonians. And even through this discussion, it's obvious that there could be people or groups that have the capacity to make this happen. This is a lot of money that we could keep with people who we know, people who support us, and people who we know that would reinvest into our city. So I'm not going to support it. I think that at some point we just have to take a stand. Again, it's not anything against you, Councilmember Mills, because I know where your heart is. But I just think at some point we have to do what we're here to do, and that is to make sure that Wilmingtonians are put first. And with that, I will return to the sponsor for any final comment.
Yes. Thank you. Appreciate all my colleagues for your comments. And I definitely agree, and we would be willing to sit down with Director Smith, maybe in midsummer, have him come back, report back to the committee in reference to how the progress is going. And after that, I'll call for the vote.
Thank you. Clerk, please call for the roll.
Councilman White,
Yes.
Councilwoman Oliver,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harley,
Yes.
Councilwoman Fields,
Yes.
Councilwoman McCoy,
Yes.
Councilman Johnson,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cabrera,
Yes.
Councilman Mills,
Yes.
Councilman Spadola,
Yes.
Councilwoman Bracy,
Yes.
President Congo.
No.
10 yeas, 1 nay, and 2 absent.
Declared adopted. With that, we will move into petitions and communications, starting with Councilmember Oliver. Did you want to say anything, or did you want to be excused?
Thank you, Mr. President. You got me on that one. Oh man. I'm going to something going on, but I'm going to. I can't even think. I gotta get.
You may be excused.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Councilmember White.
Not at this time, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Harley.
Yes, Mr. President. Again, I wanted to remind everyone that we have the citywide cleanup on Saturday, April the 20th. Let's encourage our civic association presidents and leaders to get signed up. It's an opportunity for us to clean up our city. For those groups that sign up, there are trash bags, pickers, and gloves available to help with the cleanup. And the time is from 11:30. I'm sorry, from 8 to 11:30, I believe it is, until 11:30. And the importance of signing up is so that Public Works will know where to pick up the trash throughout the city. So again, that is Saturday, April the 20th. And if anyone has any questions about it, they can reach out to Tanya Phillips in Constituent Services. That's all I have, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Fields.
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. I just want to say that last week we were supposed to be doing a renaming for Mercedes Fields Way, and we had to postpone it due to weather. I will be letting everyone know sometime next week the date for the renaming street of Mercedes Fields. Secondly, I would like to announce that the West Center City Neighborhood Association is having their community meeting at William Hicks Anderson Community Center on Saturday, April 13th from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. And of course, you know, I have my quote, and this is by Albert Einstein. We can't solve problems by using the same kind of thinking we used when we created them. Albert Einstein. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember McCoy.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Johnson.
Just wanted to let the community know that this Saturday, April 6th at 9 a.m., the Wilmington Little League field at 18th and Broome is being renamed for our late Councilwoman Walsh. Long time coming. It's a great honor, something she wanted. She was a former T-ball coach, so please come out. Again, 18th and Broome, Wilmington Little League. It should be a great event, and her daughter Robin will be throwing the first pitch. And on council matters, we're again in the midst of budget season, so you got to bear with us, public. Lot of long nights here, but we do it for the good of the city. So we have audit department coming up this audit in Public Works actually coming up this Monday, April 8th at 4:30 p.m. and the schedule will go all night. So again, we look forward to having public participation. If you can't make the meetings, please then submit requests to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cabrera.
Thank you. Just want to add that aside from the dedication of the fields at the Brandywine Park, which is at 18th and Broome, that's the address, the Little League is kicking off their season at 10 a.m. So definitely join us to support the children. In the spirit of baseball, the Roberto Clemente League, even though their registration just finished, there are still openings. So they have asked if anyone, girls ages 4 to 13, boys ages 4 to 18, it is still not too late to join the league. The phone number you can call is 302-510-7800. Last but not least, Saturday, April 13th at 11 a.m. at the Delaware Art Museum. They're going to have an event called the Powwow of Arts and Culture. Again, the Delaware Art Museum is doing a lot of great work, very interactive with the community, recognizing all the different walks of life that we have here in our city and beyond. So when you come out to those events, they're definitely a cultural experience. They're a lot of fun. It's a wonderful space. So visit the Delaware Art Museum and visit on Saturday, April 13th. And that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Mills.
Nothing tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you. Councilmember Spadola.
Thank you, Council President. In regards to nothing specifically, I just want to encourage constituents, if they are having any sorts of issues with the city, whether it's a parking issue, water, L&I, please don't just take that issue silently. If you're not getting the recourse you think you deserve, please reach out. You're welcome to reach out to me, anyone on council. We're all easily found, WilmingtonCityCouncil.com. If you scroll down, you can see our contact information. It just helps us when we're, for me, I know we have a problem when we hear about it from people. And it's always helpful to put a face to the problem, or at least, to at least know there's a real story behind the issue. So just want to encourage people to reach out to their council person and me. I'm at large, so wherever you are in the city, you don't have to look at a map. Happy to help. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Bracy.
Thank you. On Saturday, April 6th, and throughout the entire month, Milk and Honey Coffee House will be hosting Small Business Saturdays. So as we were just talking about ways to support our local businesses, each Saturday in this month from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Milk and Honey, which is at 239 North Market Street, he will be hosting other small businesses in his space. So it's a great chance to come out and support Milk and Honey, but also the partnering small businesses that will be able to be in Milk and Honey, displaying their services and their products. And it's a great way to support small and support local. So that's every Saturday this month at Milk and Honey. Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to give a shout out to Councilmember McCoy, who had an awesome community meeting last week. It was really good to see the way that your community responds to you and the way that you were just there for them. The attendance the room was packed. So I was trying to think where you're gonna have it next time. I have to move into that auditorium, but thank you for all that you're doing for your district.
Thank you.
I also want to give a shout out to Chief Campos. We talked about his legislation earlier, and he is just a chief that I believe that Wilmington has not seen before. And hopefully whoever our next mayor is will be smart enough and wise enough to keep him. I know that doesn't usually happen, but I think that he has done such an awesome job that he kind of transcends like politics. He is just a community person. He grew up here, and I just hope that we are able to continue to have him on our team. And with that, I will, I want to thank everyone who came to our meeting, who's watching virtually. Remember, if you ever need any of us on council, please call us at 302-576-2140. Again, our number is 302-576-2140. And we have council meetings every first and third Thursdays. We welcome you for public comment. And with that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second. Have a good night.
It's been first and second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.
Good night.